So for question 12-16, it really talks about how, uh, like it asks about leadership forums and leadership events and how you've gone to them and takeaways from it, what you feel they need to work on going out of it. Um, I noticed that with forums that tend to try too hard, or events that try too hard to connect with the people at the event. Like they say, I'm just like you and I do exactly what you do, but then they say what they do and it's nothing like normal individuals. A lot of the times it's like out there, you know what I mean? It's too big, it's too much, they're doing way too much. One of the things that I felt I learned from all these leadership events is that a true leader leads by example. They lead through servitude. They don't just sit there and tell you what to do. They actually do what they want you to do, and then once you learn from their example, the whole team starts to do it, or the whole organization starts to do it. It's not just one person doing something, it's one person showing the rest of the team how to do something. The issue I had with the Buckingham's theory, or Buckham's the steps. The issue I had with that was that it relies heavily on evaluations and tests, and I think a lot of people don't test well. A lot of people panic, or they get stressed, or the pressure is just too much for them, and they have test anxiety, and they just break down and they don't perform the way they usually perform. Whereas, say, a normal day in work, they might do things behind the scenes, or they might be checking in on people outside of work or outside of practice or the team, and really just making sure they're good and showing them what to do, making sure everything's okay. You can't do that through a test. You can't see that through a test. You have to actually experience it and see it in person. So I feel like this theory is relies too heavily on evaluations and testing. So one of the major things I took away, like one of the major examples I took away from one of the leadership events, was actually they used a symbolism for time management, where it was a see-through glass jar, and in that jar they put tons of things that didn't look like they fit. It was 5 items. It was tennis balls, ping pong balls, sand, water, and there was one more item, rice. It was rice. And at first, you didn't think it would fit. But as time went on, they put each item in individually. They started off with the tennis balls, then they put the ping pong balls. They put the rice at the bottom, then they put the sand, and then they put the water. And at the end of it, it all fit. And it was that there isn't a direct approach to doing any type of thing or leadership, but there's an organization that you have to follow or do and plan ahead in order to perform to the best of your ability.
All right, so my question is 1218, and it's asking, would you suggest applying Buckingham's steps to your organization? Why or why not? Well, there's 4 steps, and the first one is find or develop assessment tools. So like taking personality tests, Big 5 inventory tests. I don't necessarily agree with this one, because testing people, Dylan mentioned that people get nervous during tests. They feel a lot of pressure during it, so they might not perform as well as they would naturally. So yeah, I would just change that a little bit, maybe do like an interview type thing, not necessarily a test. Step 2 is identify the top leaders in the organization and administer the tests to them. Again, the testing part, I wouldn't really do that part, but I would take an aspect of that step from identifying top leaders, identifying what their strongest qualities or attributes to the company are, maybe make them all different, like heads of kind of departments sort of thing, and then the people under them will learn from what their strengths are. Step 3, interview the leaders within each profile category to often learn about the techniques they use that work. I do really like this step, interviewing people to know what they use that works, what they have tried that doesn't work. This is really important because we can learn from our own mistakes, but they can also learn from each other's mistakes and not make the same ones that they did, or maybe tweak it a little bit so it comes out with a different result, type of thing. And step 4, the results of top leader profile categories and the leaders' techniques can be used to create an algorithm or tailored method for developing leaders. So this says to administer the assessment test to developing leaders and determine their profile categories. I don't necessarily agree fully with this one. I do more so than I don't. Different leaders can have certain ways and techniques that they do things, and these can be collaborated together to create an even stronger, bigger business, taking those really, really strong characteristics from one person. Maybe, businesses are department-wise, split up, these 3 people are really good at sales, these 3 people are really good at accounting. So I think bringing strong attributes, but also the not as strong ones together to create some sort of method of running your business is a really good idea. I also think for step 4, it's really important to not only group people into categories that have the same kind of profile, but also different, because the different profile categories bring in that different viewpoint, or the different aspects that they can bring in that the similar people don't really know or can't understand, kind of thing.